What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about PS2 games and the PS5. And there definitely seems to be some evidence to suggest that PlayStation or Sony has partnered with an emulation, company to get these games out there and to just increase this classics catalog. Now, look, I have the highest thing of PlayStation Plus, so I don't even know what it's called at this point. I think Premium, right? Their PS1 classics are severely disappointing, just in the amount, not necessarily in the quality, but in the quantity in this case. Considering you think of PS1, you think of the library. I mean, PS2, I think, really is that crown jewel, right? And it's kind of all over the place, right? I think generally PlayStation has not done the greatest job. You can look to PS. I constantly complain about this one. PS3 is not necessarily what I grew up on. I guess I grew up on like Crash Bandicoot, but when I entered, I think 12, 13 years old, I got a PS3, and that really became my first primary console. I bought it with my own money, all that jazz. What PlayStation has done to their PS3 collection is saddening to me. It's there, the Sly collection, Infamouses, Resistances, all of these, all these ises. But at the same time, a lot of it's cloud streaming, and it's not acceptable to me, not acceptable. So what we have here, and now there's a little bit of deception going on because there was actually an article from the co-founder, and this website, PlayStation Lifestyle, does a pretty good job of breaking it all down. So basically, this company, Implicit Conversions, which was co-founded by former Ubisoft and former Sony employees, they had talked about that they were doing PS2 games for PlayStation. They said that in the article. Now, turns out, they ended up amending the article to take that out of it. So that's no longer on there. However, people did find on the Implicit's official LinkedIn page that the company is working with Sony Interactive Entertainment / PlayStation to bring PS1, PS2, and PSP games to the PS4 and PS5. And then I guess even the LinkedIn page was also amended or changed, and now it just reads working with clients to bring NES, PS1, PSP, and PS2 games to the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. And also, I believe the co-founder had also worked on the emulator PCSX2, which of course is a legendary PlayStation emulator. I wouldn't know anything about it though. So let's talk about this just for a second. Yes, I'm all for it. I like when these rumors, well, in this case, it's not really a rumor, right? Saying that you're doing PS2 games, even if you take away the Sony Interactive part, well, what would you possibly be emulating PS2 games for? Are you going to do it for Xbox? Are you going to do it? Are PS2 games going to suddenly appear on the Nintendo Switch? No, obviously you're doing it for PlayStation, right? So amending it doesn't even make sense. You'd have to take away the PS2 part in order to kind of throw people off, right? So you have that. Again, you have the article that, I mean, maybe they were misquoted, but I don't have it. I remember seeing it. I remember definitively seeing the article saying, like, hey, I remember that part. One contract led to the next contract, and bam, all of a sudden we're doing, like PS2 games. So it's absolutely happening, I believe. And, as to what I said earlier, I like it when these things pop up. There's been rumors for a while about PS3, a pretty big rumor, and we're still waiting for it to happen, right? But the PS3 kind of emulation coming and getting these games on PS5. I mean, look, the basic thing that I want, and getting more and more into, not emulation per se, but getting more into, game preservation, right? Big into that, and have the third channel podcast now Back to the Past. I want these companies to go hard on it. Xbox says it, and sometimes they back it up, and other times they go completely the opposite direction where they look like they're liars. PlayStation, well, they've never really, they did back down when they tried to shut off the PS3 and PS Vita stores. I don't know how much longer those are going to stay up, though, right? Like, the fans definitely, fought for that, and we won. The fans won that argument, but I just don't know how much longer that's going to go. But something like this, it's like, yes, again, I complain about PS3. Give us these PS3, the Sly collection. I have the Sly collection. I have Infamous 1 and 2. I have the Resistance games. Actually, I believe, in terms of Resistance on the catalog of PlayStation Plus, I don't think they have, is it Resistance 2 and 1? I think it's only Resistance 3. They have the PSP game, but they don't have Resistance 1 and 2. I don't understand it, right? Let us download these games. Don't make me stream it on the cloud. Now, my internet is probably good enough to do it, but it's just not the same. It's not what I want to do. I want to have it downloaded. I want it to, to just be in that way versus streaming. And then for PS2, again, we talk about throughout the PS2 library, it is incredible. And yeah, there's been some games, and you can look for like remasters, and or I think about like Jack and Daxter, say, right? And like that's become a remaster. Or Sly Cooper started out on PS2, right? 1, 2, and 3, and they put it on PS3 in the collection. So we have gotten PS2 games in several ways, to be honest, which is, fair to say, fair to throw it out there. They've done a little bit, but I mean, okay, let's go for it, right? So I don't know. I like to hear it. I like to see it, and the PS3 thing has long been a rumor. It hasn't really been backed up. This PS2 thing, I guess you can call it a rumor, but I feel like there's actually more substance to this PS2 thing than the PS3. So I don't know, just the more games, the merrier. I think it strengthens PlayStation Plus, the more of these older games. I mean, yeah, I guess like newer kids, like, kids that are just growing up now, are they going to know the PS2 collection? Not necessarily, right? But I don't know. I feel like it is a golden era. I think to Kingdom Hearts 2, being a classic. Well, there's a lot of PS2 games, right? So hopefully we can get more and more and more of them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.